Rinpoche will probably be up in just a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes. So.
Can people might like to silence their cell phones too?
Yeah, if anybody forgot to turn off their phone, that would be good. It's been pretty good so far. Oh, thank you. You should talk like this, Michael.
So should it break out?
Yes, and when you're giving questions, this is the microphone training, 4 inches and.
Eat the mic.
Yeah, eat it. Right. That's it. I said that.
Yeah.
And you too.
Mike, eat the mic.
Yes, you can tell the difference when you hold it like this and when you hold it like this. It's so simple. The only thing that's difficult is remembering. So as Dora mentioned, Rinpoche will be up shortly after he has given some long teachings to all of the children. Why, you're supposed to smile. He'll be up shortly, and I have very little to say this morning, except that anyone who is here who is familiar with the Dharma at all has to have had and having the experience that his teachings this round are just extraordinary. And one thing to keep in mind is that these teachings are all recorded. As they're being given, they're streamed, the video and the sound, and stored online in YouTube, I believe. And you have the opportunity to review those teachings pretty much for whatever the long duration is. They're expected to be there. So that's very nice service that we have been really happy to provide. And one more thing, aside from the obvious fact that we are so grateful that Rinpoche decided to come and happy to do the work to make it all happen. And I want to throw in also a word for our very own Eric Triplehorn, who is downstairs at this moment, I suspect. But I know that everyone has to have a sense that his translation is extraordinary, not only based on a thorough understanding of the Tibetan language, but also a thorough understanding of the teachings themselves. And having presented with Rinpoche and with other great lamas for so long, I think that we are also blessed by virtue of having someone with such background and capability, and at the same time, as you must have noticed, a very humble guy. So altogether, it's a cause for joy, and along with Rinpoche and all of you who are here, we're so appreciative that you came. Thank you.
I think Rinpoche is about to come up now. And just to throw in that Lama Eric is leading 2 retreats in September at SCOL. So be aware of that. Participate if you can.
So again, we'll begin by doing the daily prayers from page 3. Oh, until enlightenment, I go for refuge
in the Buddha, Dharma, and Spirit Sangha. By the merit of generosity and other virtues, may I aim Buddhahood for the benefit of beings.
Until
Enlightenment, I go for refuge in the Dharma and the Spirit Sangha. By the merit of generosity and other virtues, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of beings. Enlightenment, I go for refuge, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Spirit Sangha. May the merit of generosity and other virtues, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of beings.
may all
Human beings, happiness and the cause of happiness, may they be free of suffering and the cause of suffering. May never be from the authoritative happiness with such.
May they abide in great equanimity, and the causes of happiness. May they be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from authentic happiness, which is free from suffering.
May they abide in great humility
Free from the partiality of attachment and aversion. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from authentic happiness, which is free from suffering. May they abide in great equanimity, free from the partiality of attachment and aversion. Whatever virtue I have gathered, however slight, through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, beseeching, and supplicating, I dedicate all to enlightenment. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers, adorned by the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. By presenting this offering, visualized as a Buddha field, may all beings enjoy such perfectly pure realms. In accordance with sentient beings' individual mindsets and capacities, please turn the wheel of the Dharma in common for the greater and lesser vehicles. No.
Pardenza Lama Rinpoche Dage Choro Beme Dekyo Karen Jembu Gone Jezonde Gozon Tu Geng Dardo So Lama Dan Konjo Rinpoche Nambazim Ji Dadang Simje Tamji Lo chuzun robara jinje labdo zoru, chu lam dun robara jinje labdo zo lam turba zebara jinje labdo zo turba yi hisu chabra jinje labdo zoru. Tobe daji robara jinje labdo zo tuji hinju, membra jinje labdo zo tender tabla kebra jinje labdo zo njerze tun, dan dembra jinje labdo zo. 당연한서 드네 담비추 드네 휴바당 아니 디기드 아니 삼바 아니 디기드 아니 곰냠네 지야인데 또 탕마 다 돈다 쪼데 아니 깨와 치마 드네 라 펜비게 돈도 맥네 지기어레스.
So when we're receiving teachings on the genuine Dharma, when we're reflecting on those teachings, the meaning of those teachings, and when we're meditating on the meaning of what we've listened to and reflected upon, the purpose for this is principally to benefit us in future lives.
당안한서 드네 깨와 nga마당 깨와 치마 여바 히르야 텔페이 이지 여바 히르야 대네 여발라드는 이 집이 터네 에는 아주 주지 요래 다 깨와 nga지 라 이지 매나 깨와 nga지 여발라 이지 매나 대는 아주 주 제거야 그 맥세 던다 요 말했어 에 텐들라 네 대게적다 가래나 샘제 소나야 이네 소투고 요랬어 배나 던로다 버지나 그런 내가 그런 뱀베게 이네 야티네 더 드롭투고 요래 에는 아주 매다 아장창랬어 땅 하나서 샘제 헬라메비 캐주데 멜라 카리어스나 나 남주 히랍 세주디 요래 이네 히랍 되게 이네야 톨라 때네 찍다 깨와 nga마 여바 이네야 드니 이치 깨와 치마 여바 이치 이네 깨와 nga지 여바 대양 다서 몽데 잠마에 바 이는 하나서 릭빅 터네 다시 제네 이네 여바 또투고 요래 다 쪼쪼네네 코힌도 고교레 드네 다 상제 탐지 캠백에 에네드네 송라 때네 에네 동아도 이지게 두고요래.
So taking this as a foundation, having this belief in or confidence in the truth of present, yes, but also past and future lives, we have this as a foundation. And if we don't have this as a foundation of our belief system, then there isn't really a great or deeper importance for practicing the Dharma. I mean, we can see that if it's just this life alone that we have to worry about, we can see that beings are able to make a relatively comfortable situation for themselves. So even animals are able to accomplish this to some degree. So what to speak of humans? Those who find themselves with human births, they have a special capacity that the animals don't have, and that is this prajna, or this discerning intellect. And with this you can make all sorts of comfortable situations for yourself. But if you do have this trust and confidence in past lives and future lives, this is a very important foundation for the Dharma. And we don't need to just take this as blind faith. We can use our intellect, we can use our intelligence to look into this, to have some deeper confidence. Now, it's true, though, that this is a very hidden teaching. It's not something we can readily see. And really those who can only see it completely clearly are the Buddhas through their omniscience. But through what they have taught us, through working with or reflecting on the things they have told us, then we can come to have greater confidence.
된다. 원앙수 때는 코르와 토마 매바네. 때는 깨와 탕 매바제 왕여레스. 이나양 엔 코에니 야트네 다당아도 있는 응수때 트렌 두고요 말했어. 다음 대나게 있는 마옹발라양 원앙수 상 마제기 바르드 엔 코르반델라 베깨와 탕 매바제 엔 랭고여레스. 깨와 대양 엔 때는 미기 깨와 다 마에바 엔 던로라양 엔 렉다 맨다여레스. 아니 냐르바 예다세야게 엔 야트네 다 로에게 캄여레스. 대도 다당아수 응수때 통고요 말했어. 대생도 다 대두게 있는 야 깨와 장만 빠진 아주 랭그 요레스 다 대답은 뭔지 있는 야트네 통만 매바네 다다 봐도 깨와 가주 랑 가리가리랑 마음바다 있는 깨와 가주 랭그요 깨와 있는 돈로 담 소자 다 가리가리게 있는 깨와 랭그요 바데 땅 가능수 통구요 말데 희나양 탐지 켐바 드바 탐지 있는 바다 찬게 대도라 상게 휴요레스 다 상게 장매바 전발에 장줍센바 장매바 전발에 아니 난저 왕주 장매바 전발에 대다 탐지기 아니 소소게 있는 깨와 나제당 샘진 현지 있는 뜻의 깨와 나마치마 대도 무슨도 있는 데는 쓰기요레스 쓰기네 때는 안조라 있는 야다디 람 땡요레스 깨와 나지 여바 땡요 땅 안조 텔레 있는 이지지요레스 상게 책 말레스 니 말레스 상게 책이나 상게 책에 송바이나 다 책전은 덴바니 말레스 드인도 장주 셈바 책 송바이나 다데 땡데 요 말레스 책전은 드인게 삼산로 데 상게 장매바 장주 셈바 장매바 데 상매게 있는 드인 송 말레스 때는 그 찍바 송요레스 된도 다 되는 것도 있는 야지지지요레스 또
So from beginningless samsara, we have taken countless numbers of births. But of course, we don't recall these, and that at this time. And also in the future, we will continue to take births until we attain the state of full Buddhahood. So we've taken birth as humans, we've also taken birth as animals, and then there are other realms that aren't evident to our eye, like the realms of the hell beings, the realms of the hungry ghost, etc. And it's certain that we've taken birth in these realms, and it's possible that in the future we could take birth in this realm and other realms as well. So, we don't know which births we have taken before. We don't know how many more births we have in front of us because we can't see these things. But there are beings who have come in the world who can see these things quite clearly. We say that for Buddhas, all of their obscurations have been completely removed, and therefore we say that they are omniscient. And through this omniscience, they have seen that this is the truth, and they have spoken about it. And it's not just one Buddha who has spoken about the truth of past and present lives and seen clearly one or more individuals' past and present lives. There have been countless Buddhas who have come and talked about seeing this firsthand for themselves. There have been countless bodhisattvas who have arose in the world and spoken of that which they have seen to lead beings. There have been countless yogis and yoginis who have arisen in the world and had the same experience. And based upon that which they have told us, they've given us a path to follow. And maybe if it was just one Buddha who proclaimed that there was the truth of these past and future lives, we would say, oh, maybe it's not true, it's just one person, one Buddha saying this. But that's not the case. All the Buddhas, of the countless Buddhas who have come, they all proclaim this truth. The same is true of the bodhisattvas. Maybe if it's just one bodhisattva saying it, maybe we're not sure that that's the case, but all the bodhisattvas that have arisen in the world speak about this. So, relying on the fact or our confidence that it just can't be the case, knowing the other qualities of them, that all of the Buddhas and all of the bodhisattvas would lie to us about this, this can serve to give us some confidence in the teaching or the truth of past and future lives.
다음은 원지 상계다 창습 선바 주배 왕주 남기 아니 다 주배 왕주 탐제 게 아니야 되네 나랑서 샘제 남기 아니 깨와 나체 대 모습도 아니야 네 색투고 요래 다음은 나랑서 랑게 아니야 다 깨와 나체 여봐 통투야 요래베 통투게래세 저반저버지 정화이나 다 땡간도 쫄바제나 통투게래스 간데 배졸 제고르세나 다 곰자고 요래스 저바 장고 다당 아주 샘 쿠랑랑히데 베트마메바 상계게 톡규라 여베게 있는 야트네 추지고당 나나서 샘제 남기게 있는 야트네 샘nye 아니 오살 추지고 대니 이야바탄 요마르스 직바레스 다 상계라 아니 추지고텔라 드바 탐제 잘 송아레스 드바 탐제 잘네든 추지고 코랑을 ngozumdo ene yatin seungdo ene chu tamje ene yatin toban moba chen tu yoras ngarang so Sam de Lover Turbek in the new monk dripper, dripek yard yard. Dig in the drips on the go any Tungyamas, Tiawangama, Tang Shimata Parya. Kasan Kani, and in the Gaja Karikare here, Kala Karikare se, some lo Karikare tang, but try to Tawan and the Hing Yomar Jits Harris. Yomaris, Jits Harris. None of the Pugu Chung Kabla. Saja Kawakawal Shem. Kala Karikare se, Samo Karikare se, Tetanangadu in the Tengiduas, Tengmeduas. Ta Sendi in the young Anasota, now and the young in the ta pa Medeba in the Jesumana, that Yawangamata Kawakawa, Tengmara. Sangni Nangni Kare Yungu, Sangni Nangni Kare Regu, Nazuta, Nezu Karakari Chagayo, Tanangadu Tongmedwa. The Sangni Nani get Nezu Madongwa, and I think Yawachimata Kawakato, Tongamarwas. That the Madongwa Karsana and the Nyomong drips on work. Dig change and the Madongwa is. That the Nyomong big dripping tomato pass salco yours. This Salia Yorba, Sal took it as a took it.
So these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and master practitioners of the past, they have seen all this very clearly, but of course we don't see that now. I mean, forget about seeing the past and future lives of other sentient beings. We also can't even see it for ourselves. We can't see it clearly like they can. But from the perspective of feeling, is it something that we can experience? And the answer is yes, it is. It's possible to experience, but you have to do something to be able to do so. And what do you need to do? You need to meditate and you need to purify these obscurations. The reasons that the Buddha can see it is because they have purified all of the obscurations and they have realized what is the very nature of their minds, which is this Dharmakaya. And the nature of the mind of a Buddha or a Bodhisattva and the nature of our mind is exactly the same. There's no difference. It's mind itself. It's the luminosity of the Dharmakaya. So all we need to do is remove these obscurations that are preventing us, that are blinding us to our true nature. And if we do this, then we will be able to see all phenomena unobstructedly as they appear. So these adventitious stains, adventitious meaning they aren't there from the beginning, they're just temporary, they're not inherent to the nature of our minds. If we can remove these adventitious stains, then we will know. And now, I mean, at the situation we're in now, forget about seeing past and future lives. What we did earlier in this life, we don't know. What we thought 1 month ago, what we had for lunch 1 month ago, what we did 1 month ago, even these things are obscured to us. We can't recall them. So forget about remembering past lives. And the same is true in the future, where we're going to be, what we're going to do. These situations are blind to us, so forget about knowing future births in this situation. So since in this life we don't know, like even when we were younger, what did we know? What games did we play at this time? Where did we go at this time? What did we eat for lunch this day and that? If these things are not clear to us, then of course the past lives aren't going to be clear to us. So, but is it possible to have this insight, to have this clear vision of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas? And yes, it is. So what do we need to do? We just need to remove these afflictions and the obscurations that have come about from the afflictions. So if we need to do this, then is there a way to do it? And the answer is yes, there is a way to do so.
다 nganzu tin bezu chena ane nganangzo ta jikyawa ngaji la sobata to toya de kadesena ta gomja kuyores hine getting sam korang ene yatin ta be neja yu는 jikne hine ene yape 생에 담바 te be tarchimba hine tarchimba je ene yatin gom toba ina ane ta ngoyi sekutde 용요르스 ngombar hibas ngoyi se야지 다 ngoyi 용me kteende ane ta sem ki neja hinebel hinela tinpe temba toba hinela rawang toba je ene jongu yores hinela pe rawang toba temba toba je jongna dela dene ngoyi yongore ngoyi yobala tene tene kewa ngaje rang kewa rangye ene tene kewa ngaje toba dang hi semje henje ke ene tene kewa ngama ta chima 내두도 차상와 있는 또 어떻게 하래스
So if we're going to strive and make effort to do this, what is it that we need to do to be able to see things such as past and future lives? We need to meditate. And the principal thing we do first is we meditate on shamatha practice, or calm abiding practice. This means we need for our minds to be able to remain stable for long periods of time. And if we can meditate on the shamatha in an authentic way, and we can consummate this practice of shamatha, then what we call the clairvoyances come. And through these clairvoyances, we then can see very clearly things such as past and future lives. So we say, like, the foundation or the source of these clairvoyances, that which is going to allow them to arise, is having this very stable shamatha practice. And then, once this occurs, we'll be able to see not only our own past and future lives, but also the past and future lives of other beings as well.
Ta tadange kewa ngaji ene yu page ene yaten kor ta yup ke chol de hie go ya ge jumden da wot kane sena nen tereng tangan to hie je zo de tene pardo in bares pardo ta pardo ene yatene hi ta pardo la ene yatene ngang to pe che ye chi parche bala kewa ngaji ene yoba ye chi go ba kewa ngaji yoba ye maje na te pardo la ene yatene ye chi da yo mare tinda sonda ene tangbo ngado kewa ngaji yoba de ene ya hi to baje tele ye chi to baje je tene ngabe pardo ke kortila ene ngaso samlo tang nyamne chena ene dembo chikta phando chimbo singore.
So why have I begun today speaking about past and future lives? What's the reason for that? The reason is that today our topic for discussion are the bardos, so the 6 bardos. And bardo means, it has many meanings, but one of them is the state between. One of the bardos is the state between a present life and a future life. So if you don't believe, if you don't have this foundation of trust in past and future lives, then there's really not much point in talking about the bardos. So that's why I've given this introduction to past and future lives. So now we can begin to think about and meditate on the practices to be done in the bardos, and great benefit can come from this.
Tachitang in yatine pardola namdang chuk song yore, and pardo seto chegeta duzo nik par chigla in yatin pardo se yore. Ta pena nganaso pardo chuk nangne. ene 당보대 계시 파도 세그레스 다 계시세도 마이 ngane 끼네 ene 마히 파르게 두도텔라 ene 계시 파도스 다 계시 파도 telangana서 ene 삼로 카르탄 고여서나 다 마이 ngane 끼네 다다 파도다 로 가서 ene 야tin 첸도 로 가서 마다 네타도 다로 베나 ene 양압주 탐바 다 네타바이나 다가 끼네 다다 봐도 다 롱압주 탐바다 살송스 내 살바레스 다디 롱압주 그랭라 네 깨와 치마 라 펜비게 주 가르 드롭도 다소도 다지세 거다 드롭도나 안텔이 다 야제 가르당 거도 드롭면도나 아까 땅아 데스 노르야스 롱압주 다 베타 톨라 첸도스 두소데 당아서 로 가주 내 마음 받아 라고 가주 라요 다는가 땡땡 요마 팅 말스 다 롱압준 살바래 내 살바래 다로 베나 죽주 탐바마도 대양게 맹게지나 다 로츠마도 라요 말스 둔주 되거나 다로 니규마도 라요 말스 다 로츠 니규 지금 라디오스 다디 랭라 네 마음 받 깨와 치마를 펜베게든 다추 남다시 마좀 타면도 좁고도 산베 ene sambat get about goyores.
So in general, there are different ways to classify these bardos. One way is to do 6 classifications, or to set forth 6 classifications. But first, what does this term even mean, bardo? So it's like if we have 2 temporal events, 2 events in time, it's like what happens between them. So it's the intervening space between 2 other events. So for this 6-fold classification, the first one is called the bardo of birth to death. So this is the time from when we This begins with birth, when we exit the womb, and it lasts until we die. So how should we think about this period of time that we spend, this first bardo? We should reflect on what we have been doing since we were born up till now. So for example, if we're 50 years old, we can reflect on these past 50 years and look at what we've done. And if we believe in the past and future lives, and we want our future lives to be pleasant and of use, we can reflect upon what have I done to prepare myself to set a good foundation for my future existence. And then we can think that we know we're going to die one day, and we don't know when we're going to die, but perhaps if we live till 60, then we know that we just have 10 years left. If we're going to live till 70, then we have 20 years left. And if we find that over these 50 years we've met the Dharma and we've been practicing the genuine Dharma in a good way, we should think, okay, we should have some satisfaction about that, and think, though, that we're still going to do better. And if we reflect on that time and look that we see that we haven't really practiced the Dharma in a genuine way or as much as we would like, then we should think for these remaining years, however much you have left, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, etc., you're going to use that time to do Dharma practice, pure Dharma practice, as best you can to benefit these future existences.
마음 베게 에네드네 깨와라다 이지 여바 히르샤네 다 바르도 콜라 삼노 땅야데 가르서는 다 마음 발라 에네 데제 영화 에네 시비 갑라 동안 매파 다디 tradik 지야게 에네 야든 팬도 요레스 tradik 지고 요레스 다 시비 내갑라 트루와당 동안 매파 에네 베 랍나 스네 상제지 콤방 톱톱아 다 디게 에네 야든 tradik 라보데 제고 요레스 바르도 내가 바르도 콜 삼노 땅야데 tradik 지야게 콜 라보 삼노 땅야지라 다 팬도 용 톱고 요레.
So in short, if we have this trust in the truth of future lives, if this is like a foundation of our belief system, then when we look at these teachings of, and when we think about these bardos, this bardo that we're in right now, this bardo from birth until death, we should be using this time to prepare for a better future. In our future existence, we want to experience some degree of happiness and well-being and have some freedom. So if this is the case, we need to do something about that now. And further, immediately following this death, this life, when we come to the point of death, if we want it to be a good and a useful death, if we want it to be free of suffering and free of confusion, that it's important that now, while we have the opportunity, we do things to prepare for that. So the best case scenario at the time of death is attaining Buddhahood. But even if we can't attain that, we can still prepare to be free of suffering and free of confusion. But again, we have to prepare now. And if we do prepare, there can be great benefit.
다드네 파르도 니바데 데네 삼덴 파르도스 삼덴 파르도스 아데 다다는 간수 곰 야요바 히르야레스 곰 다페나 곰 니마체글라 간수 엘리야 베 추조책 곰고요나 히네도 에네 추조책 그런 히네 곰 난고요나 에네 추조책다 고 간수고나 데네네 에네 추조 디 마센티 파르도 당아도
The second of the 6 bardos is the bardo of meditative stability, or maybe we could just say meditation. So to speak about this bardo, we need to have we assume that one is engaging in meditation practice. So for example, if during any particular day, one engages in 1 hour of meditation, and if one can rest in this samadhi, the samadhi of that meditation, say shamatha practice, one pointedly, then for that hour of that day, we say that's another bardo. That is something between 2 different states, a special state between 2 other states, and that is the bardo of meditation.
다드네 삼데 파르도 대양 당아도 야제 당거레스 당보 가랑수 곰 에는 고쪽은데 에는 즉다 까마가 주 델라 하베기 때문에 다 샘드 네트고요 말에 촌두고요래 이나양 다 삼데 델야 때문에 곰발라 때네 에는 오실라 소파 연대 빠도 마바 종고요 발라 때는 이 치네 에는 삼데 다 곰발라 때네 쪼바 체르 쪼바야 체르 로네 아니 다 삼대 곰바테 때네 야제 당고 요라스 고 요라스 다 당고추 이제 까마 주종아 되네 추도 책 되네 추도 니좀해나 어텐데 그랑라 이네 다 가세 삼대게 되네 곰베게 삼대지 다 가세 땡한테 곰바테 요랭 동토바치 난고 요레스.
So for this bardo as well, this bardo of meditation, we need to strive to improve it and to develop it. Like, for example, when we begin meditating, maybe it'd be difficult to meditate even for a few minutes. Maybe then we can do 5 or 10 minutes resting in this samadhi. But we need to be able to rest for a longer time without our mind being distracted or confused. So by continuously putting effort into meditating on this samadhi or this stable mind, we can develop our samadhi, we can make improvements. And especially if we think about the fact that through this meditation, many certain qualities, many types of qualities come, such as the clairvoyances that I mentioned earlier. This can generate some enthusiasm, and this can sort of inspire us to practice better, to improve our samadhi. And then slowly, from 10 or 15 minutes, maybe we can extend the time that we can do so to an hour or 2 or 3 or even 5. Slowly, we need to be able to rest in this samadhi for longer and longer periods of time.
Tatine sumbatela malam pardo seres malam pardo tanga du nye kogne tene nilam chik tang di nilam de ene mazo chi park dugaptela malam chi pardo seres.
Then the third bardo is the bardo of dream. So when we fall asleep, from the time that a dream commences until that dream is finished, we call that the bardo of the dream.
Ta melam yuring dong yoris samsala ene yatne ngado chuso mangbo rang la nye kipo kogne ene melam ya pe kipo melam sangbo mingres ta samsala ene yatne nye yabo mako nye tempo kok ba yina ya dirang la melam jek zurong wa pe melam ngangda che oh dezo ene ya mingres 강 다량 melam 상에 가르면 나양 다 melamte 고속네 마조지 파르도 melam 파르도 세레스 다티 melamte 에네 트루바레스 덴바 트로비오 마레스 melam네 melam레스 곧 덴바 트로비오 마레스 샘 트루송게 되네 다 낭와 에네 야드네 나조지 샤릉 와지라 다 melam스요레스.
So dreams last for different periods of time. Sometimes if we fall into a deep sleep for many hours, maybe we can have a very pleasant dream, a very peaceful dream. Sometimes maybe our sleep isn't as good and it's a little lighter, and maybe we have scary or frightening dreams. So whichever the case, whether it seems pleasant or unpleasant, whether it's short or long, from the beginning of that state to the end of that state is what we call the bardo of the dream. And it's important that we know that these dreams are not truly existent. They're actually confused states of mind. Many things arise in our mind, but they're just confused appearances within the mind.
다 강다량 melam 상에 가르 맹나양 melam 나티네 덴버인데 메롱바레스 melam레스 melam 시주데 코 트르베게 나와레스 되네 다 저단게 에네 melam rangi melam khorang ene yatine dembar madu pa ene yatine ta samlo tang juta ajang chang ge chembo ajang chang ge chembo re de ene dadi ge ta madu nangwa na so pa hya de ba ene ge jan ra meta he de ba ene dedu ge sorba na ba na to nyong he ba de yang ene melami samba chen nga tu ka du na ne samlo tang ku re melam ge ene yatine sambe ge ndomba te ku yo re.
So whether the dream is positive or negative, happy or scary, it's important that we don't cling to dreams as being true. Again, these are just confused appearances within the mind. So not only is it important that we know that these dreams that we have for ourselves are confused appearances of the mind, even these appearances that we're seeing during waking life, everything that we see and experience, the talk that we engage in, all our experiences of happiness and suffering, we even need to think that these experiences are just like a dream. It's very important to have some to use your mind to remind yourself again and again that this is the case.
Manam jit nangwa tang pardu nangwa tepe rabo yores. Manam nga tuta dembar manze bachene ta nangwan de tamchi trubare. Manami dembar trubai chungse tang yo amare nganang sem trubeke ene tine nangwa shar dewa mato dundu ene tine ta dembar truba chungse tang yo amare. Malami sambe nangwan de tamche kadu na malami tende ngado en ya yangdo en ya tene samlo tang thopa hina tene usu chamsam malam kabla ya ta je deduk sorwa nawa karishar gona de oda malami a demba trip me bai de pardu k nawa de chik bai pardo chik bare samdan ro o tende en ya tene nawa shar ngure de tende nawa shar thopa hina 상이 힘은 내가라 ene pardo 샤롱도 되게든 폐바시다 요레스 출게 말했어.
So if the experiences that we have in a dream and the experiences that we have in a bardo that we haven't gotten to yet, but the bardo that comes after we die, we say that the dream bardo and this experience of bardo after death are actually quite similar. And the more that we can remind ourselves that the dream experiences are just confused experiences, that they're not truly existent, that they're just confused manifestations, like the self manifestations of the mind appearing as external things, the more that we can think about that and reflect on that and try and remind ourselves of that, the more benefit will come at the time of death. Because if in a dream, if you can remember that all these pleasant or unpleasant things are not true or not truly existent, they're just confused projections of the mind, then there's a greater chance that when you're in the bardo after death, you'll be able to have that same experience. And if you have that same experience, you can be free of the confusion and there can be of great benefit at that very time.
ene nego chudok di nangla ene chudok nangne ene melam tang ene pardo chudok nangne ene ya melam tang pardo te song yores ta melam nyamne che bege melam jet na jor ene nyamne che ati ke ta tangbo ngo song du kharesna ta 다디 nangwande 탐제 melami 출와이 덴바 트럽이요 말에 nga tanda pede temok marik pe nang marik pe ke ne nye ke nang de ene chudwe ke ta malam namba na to ene tne shar him ba ni sa ta ti ndumba na da ti samba te pe gyu ma che pa yang ne yang du samlo da khala sabe ne ka la ta nga malam ke ene lu ke ene malam tabu ke te se sa yo malam tabu ke ene robot nyam du ke ja she yo malam ke ene tne tabu ke tne ta 사자 책 로유 레가 레요 삼 다딘 돈바테 엔페 롭종 샤다 장내로 와 셈그단 장도고 아니 코 힘에 내가라 때니 코네 말람 땅에 내가라 다데 말람이 삼 그래 근데 바로도이 근데 출바이 때네 ngoto 용 그래 근데 ngoto 발 때네 아니 상이 시비 내가라 다디 그 출바때 출바 엠발 에너지 히 말람 따부 히 바르도 따부 히 송도 엔테네야 콜발 캬마고 와전 된 트롤도 요레스
In terms of the sets of practices called the 6 yogas of Naropa, the 6 yogas of Naguma, there are 2 practices among the 6. One of them is the dream practice, dream yoga, and the other one is the practice of the bardo, or the intermediate state. So when you're doing this practice of dream yoga within the context of the 6 yogas of Naropa or Naguma, how do you begin this practice? What's like the foundation for this practice? During the waking state, you need to remind yourself again and again that everything that you're experiencing is just a dream. Right now I'm just dreaming. These aren't true experiences. This is confusion, actually. And the more that you can do that, the more that you can understand and tell yourself that all these phenomena that I'm experiencing, they're not true, they're just a dream, these are just the manifestations of my confusion or ignorance, the more you can do that, if you can do that continuously, no matter what you're doing, then these experiences will arise when you're actually dreaming and when you're in the intermediate state. So for example, when doing this practice and you're eating food during the day, you think, oh, this is just my dream body eating this dream food. I'm in a dream right now. If you're talking with your friends, oh, this is just my dream body talking to these dream friends. This isn't truly existent. When you're going from one place to another, this is all just happening in a dream. Whatever work you're doing, this is just work occurring in a dream. It's not real. The more you can do this, the more you can familiarize yourself with this and keep this thought in your mind continuously, that creates the habit that when you do fall asleep at night and you're dreaming, or when you're in the state of the bardo after death, because you've been reminding yourself of this so much, that will come to yourself in this state of the dream. And then you will recognize that you're dreaming. You will know that you are dreaming. You will recognize that the confusion as confusion, both at the time of dream and also in the intermediate state. And if you recognize this in the intermediate state, now meaning the time after death, if you know the intermediate state is the intermediate state, if you're not confused and swept away by all the things that appear, then you can become liberated from samsara. You will not have to wander samsara anymore, and there's an opportunity for liberation.
Himbala, Melam Tabu, Himbala, Himbar and the Petachimba in the thought Tabaina, that in the Melam Kabla, Tando Lega Mambo Yoris, then a Turbata, Jurbatas, that to Jurla Sobitin, Dramadache to be yours, Melam. Penna and a Himiche in the Melam Tambaina. Oh, then Himiche Melam Tantandish, Tanda Himingune Mares, the Melam Nangi in the Himires. Melam Nang Himere something. That in the sector. That the toad codeth, and it's the sector. Then Himiti Gayan, Melam got the Telea, no Bachi Wando, Tindik in the Melam Tangwando. Oh, then the young men are Rangye in the apple, Tanda was it. Mother in the dinner Rangye in the apple, but Tanda was it in the Yalam Tang. Oh, then the young Tati, young, sensation that like Jur. Oh, that tour, yours, Rangi and the Melam Nalacock, in the Kang Tur, Karina Tultoba, Karina Jurtoba, Nubochek, Nubohin, Jurtoba, but the metal, the Chula Jurtoba, show the metal, the Jurpa, Melam Des, Melam could Dembar Mataba, the Carche, Melam Nala. Mango in the Chegla Ya Jurtoba, Cheg in the Yatin, young Jolly and the Jurtoba. Oh, Tini, Lomba and Nata, the Melam Des, Tananga Melam Nala in the Portland at Deus. Tanga Melam in the color, got Melam in the Kawa and Androshogres. Then Lamsang to the Karzeta, Europe Bravo, Chilla, Friends Lombata, Chilla, Getting and Row in Sambado, Intinia Portland Rovatavo. Shobai and the Portland Rovatavo, or Namdanagi Portland Rovatavo. Taco Melanova, or Tose, Tur, Jur, or Bells. Then the Melam Korana, Karina in a dog shade, Toyazi orders. Tedese Tobaina, did the Melam Rawang Tobade, the Rawang Tobade, the Sangi in the Hibi Dagabla, and the Tulkubi of Mother, Matter by Insultini, but as the told to this.
Sometimes I can't read the first word, and that's a big obstacle. So if we can come to understand that all of these phenomena are not truly existent, if we can perfect this practice of reminding ourselves that this is just a dream, that these things aren't truly existent, then we have this opportunity to wake up in the dream. And once you become lucid in the dream, then there's a lot of things that you need to do or can do to continue with this training. So we speak about the practice of emanation, of transformation, etc., and there are more. So for example, in terms of emanation, so let's say in your dream, you know you're dreaming, but in this dream experience, you see that there's a cat. So you know that you're dreaming, you know it's not a real cat, and you try and gain control over this situation. You know that things aren't truly existent, so it should be possible to exert influence. So you train in being able to emanate things, like maybe you can try and emanate a mouse, and then the cat will chase after the mouse or whatever. Or you also want to be able to transform, like transform yourself into things. Transform yourself into a tiger, transform yourself into some other kind of animal. You work in the dream state, once you've recognized you are dreaming, to be able to do these different kinds of things. And then, the more you can do this, the more control you have in other aspects. You also try and change phenomena, like ordinary phenomena, like a flower into water, a water into flower. Since these things aren't truly existent, since they're just dream appearances, you should be able to do that, right? Although you can't do it immediately. It's something you have to train at and get better at. There's also a practice called like multiplication, let's say. So there's one thing, you try and change that one thing into 100 things, etc. You should also be able to transport yourself. Like now, maybe you find yourself in Portland in the dream. Well, this Portland isn't truly existent. It's a dream Portland. So if I train, I should be able to go anywhere instantly. Maybe you can send yourself to Europe or France in a moment, or you can just manifest wings and fly there. So once you become lucid in the dream, then there's a lot of different trainings you do. You work with this emanation, with transformation, and with multiplication. And once you have the freedom to do this, once you have complete mastery over the dream state, then when you die and you're in the intermediate state after death, there won't be confusion. You will have control of the situation, and you'll have the ability to be liberated.
Tene melamla rawang topaina ene hingamla ene yatne ben rotugires bena melam nye ta manye kongde ta tren tanda nye jinangde melam tangwar shat melam menge ins ba rawang yore melam khande menge sena ene nga lamsang dewa chenji hingamlan ro sangye oba me ji kundu ne tene chu tene ngayang mar ngarang ne supportinal ene tene ya yungin sam ndombate tene nani ne kogres ne kone lamsang melam ngotuk batang ene rangye dewa chen hingang la ro sangye oba me je sangye oba ma la cha chal ene sangye oba ma la chu nang ro nang shu ene oba me chu nang ene chu de ene ya so gom nyam ne je ene so lep anta melam 도스 ene mengres tere telata karta chi hingamla ya ndone ene sangje kundu ne chushba longba chek la chek demo ta galan roba roba bena dene ta dene ne ene america dot south africa le manyong south africa longba khande chona samsan ro telan ro ti longba chada demo ta tende che chores ngema ene jonang 따라나다 휴주지 요래서 따라나다 라마 ene kong tanga xiambala ndo ins xiambala ndo ne tene xiambala ike ene ta chuji jalpo kondo ne chushu ins to ndo bate ene sem ko deras sem kon tene kong chadang xiambala ike longba chadang demotan chadang pem ene xiambala ike chuji jalpo kondo ne chushu the chu ne in the yatine chu ne chu karoj nang ne da chu de mazo samla in the hyapji ge in the yatine go tak 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 don ne samla che song in chu chadang hyo tamazo tinde loji yores tinde go tub go yores
So there are other things that we can do once we have mastery over the dream state. So for example, we can visit different pure realms. So to do this, before you go to sleep, you create this very clear intention in your head that as soon as I fall asleep, I'm going to recognize that I'm asleep and I'm going to travel, like to the Buddha field of Sukhavati, Amitabha's Buddha land. I'm going to approach Amitabha and receive some teachings from him. So then when you fall asleep, you have that strong intention beforehand, and then you can do so. You can actually travel to Sukhavati. You can go right before Amitabha Buddha, prostrate to Amitabha Buddha, request him to give you teachings. You can receive these teachings, actually practice them there, and then come back at the end of that trip, so to speak. And not only to a Buddha field, you could also travel to just another place in this world. Like, for example, maybe you've never been to South Africa and you wonder what South Africa is like. If you have this strong intention, you wake up in the dream state, you have mastery over this practice, you can actually travel to South Africa in the dream state and look around and see what's there and then come back. There's a story of Taranata, Jonangpa master. He had the intention, he wanted to visit the pure realm of Shambhala. So he created this strong intention before he went to sleep. As soon as I fall asleep, I'm going to go to Shambhala and see what's there, receive teachings, and he does so. He falls asleep. He travels to Shambhala. He goes and he sees the Dharma king of Shambhala, and he starts to receive instructions. First, he travels around and sees the Pure Land, everything that's there, approaches the Dharma king, and he's receiving teachings from this Dharma king. It's like one set of teachings, right? A beginning and an end. And just as he's getting kind of close to the end of the teachings, one of his attendants comes to his room where he's sleeping and knocks on the door and wakes him up. And it said that he didn't finish the teaching. There was a little bit left he didn't receive. So there are stories like this. And if we practice, we can do the same thing.
Oh yeah, that dorna and that melam turba tang yoruba la perwa la sopa tezu rawang matop nayang and the tadik nawan de tamje in the atene melami trubai tenga to jundu da mizik nala rawa nyamle che topna yinayang and the shatag pendo chimbo yore ngusu sozola in the yata samla melam jacksrongwa nangda change gyabana and then yes melam truba da sangi partu kabla ninda yungre ko melam dembar mata pare sam tendeche yang melam kala pe kibo sacha yakpo zebo pe ene tende ene ya nganju pe temo na so pa se kibo che tende ene ya nilam tangwa ina yang ye se so na nilam de truba de dembar trup ya mare nangwan de tamje melam de chikba de samsan ro chendi ngana ta deji nangwan de khasang melam de chikba yi sam 대다고 양네 양도 삼로 땅 터바이나 난도 덴버든 zembe 로데 에네 총도 로요스 난도 그 동ар 탐제 그 자와 덴젠 땅 덴버든 zembe 로땅 무버든 zembe 로땅 다 마접나야 다든 zembe 로 텔라 때네 나도 이네 동안 중요스 다 제단에 야트네 나완데 탐제 때네 규마 땅 melam 땅 바로 따버를 ngohi Take any attending onto bed Yamland Rabbit to Jundu Shabaina and a dancing lot chung and progress. Delatene in a dongar chung, neck up Tadala and a dinner dongar chung and Rovatan, Deva Ched and Rovella, Pendo Chamboyores, that Melam Partos is Melam.
So for this practice of dream yoga, again, there are all these practices within it, such as transformation, emanation, multiplication, etc. And of course, if we have mastery over this, then we can do all of these different things in the dream state. But even if we aren't able to practice this dream yoga in this very life and gain mastery of this transformation, emanation, and multiplication, still, if we can again and again remind ourselves that all the phenomena that we experience during waking life are confused appearances, are just like dream appearances, are not truly existent, there's great benefit that can come from this. So maybe it can happen that we're having a very scary dream at one point. Maybe in that circumstance, we could wake up to the fact. We could remember, oh, these appearances are just confused appearances. They're not truly true. It's just a dream. So it can be of benefit them. And we can further think that when we die, it's said that after death, in that bardo after death, many scary appearances, many very frightening appearances arise. So the more that we can familiarize ourselves with the fact that experiences like this aren't truly existent, the better chance we'll have to have that same insight when we're in the bardo experiencing these scary things that might distract us and keep us from taking advantage of the opportunity that's there. Further, even in this life, when we're going to pleasant places, experiencing pleasant things, if we can remind ourselves that even these pleasant things, these are also just confused appearances, they're dreamlike, they aren't truly existent, this can have benefit in this very life. The more that we can reflect on this in this very life, then this mind that clings to the truth of apparent reality will be lessened. And we say that all the suffering that we experience comes about from clinging to things as true that aren't actually true, clinging to a self where there is no self, clinging to things as being substantial when they aren't actually substantial. So just by doing this practice in this daily life to whatever degree is possible, it's going to reduce this mind of clinging to things as being true and substantial, clinging to this sense of self. And the more that we do this, the more that our experience of suffering is going to decrease, the more that these states of mind will decrease, and the more that our well-being will increase. So you can see there's great benefit in working with this practice in this way. So this is a brief introduction to the third bardo, the dream bardo.
다 계시 파르도 삼된 파르도 문안 파르도 세야데 다 챈디 갑 계자리 다드니 숨 히바델라드니 다 치기 파르도스 치렘베 갑다 파르도레 드니 추니 파르도스 드니 스바 파르도스 파르도스음데 다 세치메게 에네 계자리 다 계체규데 다 다이히바나히레 다 계시 파르도스 삼된 파르도다 문안 파르도스 다 다디 갑레 가게제 다 내서와래 가게제 다다 있는 무슨 냠내 제조래 다 기체규 대 파르도 탐적이 나는 기체규 대다 치기 파르도 세야 되래 다 치기 파르도 때 나도 치렘바 다 치김베 값게 네 내당 내주 되라 다 치기 파르도 세래 다 뒤값라 당한도 자득 약보 단단해 애니야 라왕 옆에 내값라 동안 민종바 출바 민종바 애네 저 되게 즉다 가세 주냠내게 터네 근데 등 토픽 때는 자득 지주대 다 빼면서 비케시 뭐래 기체규트 자가 열어.
So these first three that we've spoken about, the bardo from birth till, it's not actually till death, it's from birth until the dying process begins. And then the second one of the bardo of meditation, and the third of the bardo of the dream, these are all, related to this life. And then the next three are related to the end of this life and the intermediate state after this life. So the fourth one is the bardo of dying. The fifth one is the bardo of dharmata. And the sixth one is the bardo of becoming. So for these first three, these are things that we're experiencing now. Much of this has already passed as our lives have gone on for some time. And with some of these other bardos, we can practice with them in this moment. But most important is this next bardo, the bardo of dying. So this again starts when the process of death begins. And now is the time that we should start to prepare for how to work with this bardo of dying. If we can prepare now, then we won't be overcome by the confusion that ensues, and we'll have mastery, or we'll have some freedom to be able to work with this bardo in accordance with the Dharma. So this is very important.
치기 바르도 되라 즉다 난절바 냠내 즉 랍다 랭다 타마 다 된데게 이네 예와 요레스 다 난절 랍이나 다 가상 휴바나게 배 치발라 된데 다 가와다 쪼봐 다배 대가 바르도 다 코르발라 캬바레스 다 코르베게 이네 야tin 타 조네 다 치와 워서 이네 tin 추지고라 된데 다 상게비게 tin 둘라 바바이레 데스 제네테는 도나 데다 오서 추디콜라테는 냠바르샤네 데는 상게로 요레 딘디게 난조 빠지글라 추니 파르도세야 다오탄 세파 파르도세야테 뇽구요 마르세 다가랑네 에니야 치가 코랑게 에네테는 오서 셈지 네로 다 가장 휴바나게 마도 타마르게 히바스 타마르게 히베게 랑올라 에네 마양 와제네 냠바르조 히베칼라 에네가도 오트 체인로 요레 데네네테는 상게로 치와와서 추지꾸이 그거라 데네 상게 엔 추고 ngo좀도 ngo토네 엔 상게 컴바 탐로 요레스 다데 난조 파라프레 다데는 랭당 엔 타마 대조게드네 다 냠내 치당 그래서 나도 다다니네 엔 자득다고 지지도 백케스 모레스.
So for a yogi or a yogini, going through the death process, again, there are these three levels of capacity or ability that we divide them into. And we spoke about this a bit before. But again, for the highest capacity, yogi or yogini, when they're approaching death, they actually have joy and enthusiasm. So why do they have this joy and enthusiasm? Because they recognize that up until this point, they have wandered samsara without control. And now, as death approaches, there's this opportunity to rest in the very luminosity, which is the nature of the mind, which is the Dharmakaya. because this opportunity is coming very soon, that's why they have this joy, that's why they have this enthusiasm, because this opportunity to attain Buddhahood is close at hand. For this highest capacity of yogi or yogini who can do this practice and do this, rest in the nature of mind, when their breath stops, they realize the Dharmakaya, they realize the luminosity of the nature of the mind, they realize the luminosity of Tamoshepa, ordinary mind, right? So it's because of this that they have this enthusiasm and joy, and if this happens, if they can recognize it and rest in it and become liberated, then these next two bardos, the bardo of the Dharmata and the bardo of becoming, do not ensue. They don't experience those bardos. Now, for other beings who aren't of the highest capacity, then for those beings, these bardos will come, so we need to prepare now for that circumstance.
다 치기 바로 되네 졸비겠든 탑삽휴 다 가래세나 다 코르완델라 아주 차바다 현바 진짜세 다 진짜 게네 탑바데 제국이 어렸어 진바다 차바데 정나 진바다 차바데 효소나 다데 야 제와 치마라 아니 야 즉 타르바 토픽이든 바르제 게 체휴드 데레스 다 다다네 간도 다득 지야드 가래서나 다베나 소소라 제 파마 조조 아니 조보 조모 아니 즉다 사자 유노 롱조 가리요나야 대다 탐제 다잉에 휴바나기 유마다 만남 따보게 되네 ndом바 장네 아니 덴바르 마트파 로장 텔라인데 즘바다 착바 마혀바지 대다 탐제라 지금 즘바 착바디 혀바이나 엔 디캅라 치키 파르도 캅라 이난다 아니 세파 파르도 캅이난다 디네 진짜 디 왕기 아니 콜발데 양자 참로 요르스 양자 콜바 제그레스 베나 추바 곰장게 야보지 이나양 아니 치가라 제 소주기다 녀녀와 부르라 소발라 진바다 착바 혀르송하나 아니 콜발레 람상 칭용 그랬어 두준 추셔라 아니야 맹게 냠내셔라 맹게스 이나양 양코 치기 참조르서야 뺏게쳐 버렸어 참조르 야고 지체네 저 라마라 대바 뭐그 샘젠 라틴 참바다 닝제 아니 저 소소게 에네다 르롱조 라인데 닌젠바다 착바 내바 닌젠바다 착베게 로디야 빵터바 된다 정나 돌트비 어레스 자다 다 통말 들랑가도 닌젠바다 착베게 에네다 로디 파 제토바제 다다년에 때때서 곰 차득시 거렸어
So what is the most profound means for liberation at the time of death? There are many things, we'll talk about that, but first there are many things that can get in the way of this opportunity for liberation. So the main thing is if we have great attachment to the things of our samsaric life, if we have this great attachment, it's going to be a big obstacle to our opportunity for liberation. So it's very important that we cut the cords, cut that which binds us to samsara, cut these cords of attachment to these things of samsara. Because if we don't, then even for practitioners, even good practitioners in the state of these bardos, it can be a great impediment to this liberation. So how do we prepare? Now, when we have the opportunity, we need to reflect on, we need to work at reversing our attachment to things like our parents, our children, our wealth, any land that we own, anything like that. How do we do that? We do that by reflecting again and again on the fact that these phenomena are just dreamlike phenomena. They're not truly existent. In this way, we work to reduce this attachment. Because if this attachment arises, whether it's in the bardo of dying or in the bardo of becoming, this is going to pull us back into samsara. Even if someone is quite adept even if one is a very good meditator, if during this time of the bardo of dying or the bardo of becoming, if this attachment arises at that time, even great meditators can be again sucked back into samsara, even if they otherwise would have had the opportunity for liberation. We say that this gap or this opportunity of the bardos, this state when things are not quite fixed, there's a great opportunity there for both positive and good things to happen. So that's why even a great meditator can be pulled back into samsara. And it's also true that even someone who isn't a great meditator, as long as they have confidence in their guru or lama, if they have devotion to them, if they can develop at this time confidence, devotion to the lama, loving kindness and and compassion towards sentient beings, if they can undermine this attachment that they feel, see them as not truly existent, as dreamlike, then there's an opportunity for liberation, even for people who haven't had an incredibly strong meditation practice. So the first thing we need to do is undermine or work to get rid of the strong attachment we have for the things of samsara.
En chu de de nyamne chi chene se nyamne chi yore lo jong nyamne chi yore ta na ye che ta che hine sak dong la so bi gom ja yore ngon ro gom chi yore chu drup drup yore ta na hi bi ne gab la ne nyamne de da chi san be ke ta dan da che ko de ta ju ta da che ko de 타주면 냠내 망보 저저 때리 힘은 내가 다 가르치고 가르가 나선 희내 공고나 ene 가서 온도 제거나 로종 공고도서 지 샘데 있는 지금 타 맞아 봤지 망보 저기 되게 됐어 태종민 거랬어 단단 지금 타 제거랬어 타주 저기 나 힘을 내가 봐네 냠내 내다 저기 샘베게 타주 단단에 타제네 엔티 람가들라 로거랬어.
So for people who have familiarity or who have received a lot of different Dharma teachings and done practice in all of them, like maybe done some Chenrezi, done some mind training practice, done shamatha, done vipassana, done all the different practices of the ngundro or the preliminary practices, it can be a little confusing at the time of death if you haven't laid a plan beforehand. Like, if you haven't decided what you're going to do at the time of death, and then the time of death comes, you kind of get a little, you have doubt, or you're sort of a little bit uncertain of what you should do. And this is going to be a big obstacle. So before the time of death comes, it's important that we decide, that we resolutely decide for ourselves how we're going to practice, what we're going to practice at the time of death. This is very important. Then once you decide, you sort of work with this path so that you're ready at the time.
Tinangandu tanda nyamne de chidang nyamne mangbo chi yor ngonro ene chi hila ke tingen de ta na ye ene chi lojong tin la ene chi drama ta chene sig la sobe nyamne mangbo chi yor ta de nyamne cheba ta tamji ene sangni hibit nega la ene ta chi karte tajo karchi ton rogona di ene ya ta ga gyula ya tin rot bala megne en tana tin nyamne te to che kores
Di gyula.
hibit nega la chigit nega la ta pena ene yanga nyamne nida chike tone ene trol to ba chi sambe tajo ji yor ba ene tajo de ene drobe ki tonda la ene tana nyamne henda te to tel me kores.
So, of course, there are many practices, like we've just mentioned. There are all the different preliminary practices. There are samadhis of shamatha and vipassana. There's the mind training. People do some yidam practices like Tara and Chenrezi. But again, we need to decide now how we're going to use this practice, how we're going to put all this into practice at the time of death.
다 타주 약휴 등하나서 냠레 랍등 타마다 가리나미나 탁조 약휴데 시가 시비 내가라 다 대화 쟁라 로인 삼비게 태존해 봐잖아 당아 시비 내가라 가두시거나 시비 내가라 베 니마주 헛데가 액시던트 다워 베 로와 베 로버도 에니아 시송바나 깨직 다가라 대화 지는 거 있어. 단 나와 망보 나네. 배 맹강 나는 나네. 에네 시베나. 다 시탄의 옥데 체네. 그래서 대화 지랑 삼백에 엔티 타데 단단히 제고래서.
For all capacities of practitioner, we can say that perhaps the best practice that one can do is to have this notion in one's mind that as soon as one dies, without doubt, without hesitation, one is going to orient one's mind towards the pure realm of Sukhavati or Dewa Chen. Whether you get in an accident where you're instantly killed, you should prepare yourself that in that very instant, in that very moment, I am going to go to Sukhavati. Whether you happen to be in a hospital for many months before you die, sick and whatever, as soon as you take your last breath, you've already decided, in that very moment, as soon as I take my last breath, as soon as my last breath is finished, I'm going to go immediately to Dewa Chen or Sukhavati.
Dewa Chen la kebe suzuki pe taya bochi je top. Dela chik deba dang mugu hyok chakbo yoba. Dewa Chen ke iyong miyong sambe ke tetom tene meba. Tene ta suzuki tene tsabe lama tang ene oba me ene tene yerme ba. Tsabe lama tang chene sik yerme ba. Ta chene sik se nanda oba me tena tona ngo chik pare. Tana chene sik ene drup ne ene ta shibi nega la ene kesa oba me jindon tu jegi se ndumba te yorwa. Tese to kola oba me ki hingam lan rose ke samba tabu de chene sik des. Samba te chene sik des. Chene sik drupa la te ne ene oba me ki hingam la le la bo chene ne ten kietu kres.
So if we've decided that this is what we're going to do, and if we have a strong faith and devotion towards this practice, Chenrezi Amitabha, the pure realm of Sukhavati, and if we have no doubt that we can do this, and it's important to be free of doubt, like not thinking, oh, is this possible? Is it not really possible? We need to be free of that kind of doubt. And then when we're dying, we imagine that above our head is the root Lama, and the root Lama is indivisible with either Amitabha or Chenrezi. Amitabha and Chenrezi are of one essence, so whichever one you feel stronger about. So probably many of you practice Chenrezi. And for those of us who practice Chenrezi, this is because Chenrezi and Amitabha are of one nature, are indivisible, then this practice is very good preparation for taking birth in the pure realm of Sukhavati. We say that Chenrezi is like a bridge that leads us to the pure realm of Sukhavati. So through this practice, it becomes quite easier. It's a very effective means to take birth there. And just to make this clear, you visualize your root Lama is inseparable from Chenrezi or Amitabha, but you visualize the form of Amitabha or Chenrezi, not the root Lama.
Cho juna, ane sangye tang me ba. Tene debik sangye tang me ba. Tata ene cho juna ene ya tene ta sangye himbik ene tene chuji kolo kor himbik tene sangye tang me ba. Maung ba sangye tang me ba yoris. Ta sangye tata ge ene hingam la ngarang su jeba la ene cho zo driba chang. Chunye ge ene tene Nelo ngosum to in the yatin tong symbolic mato and lelabo get to good mare. In a young Oba Magi Hingamla, Narang to Joe Tamalpa, Ka Mihiba, Chu Hita Mihibe, that Tabatembo check down easy to you, not country. Temado in the yatin, Chu Jachimbo Mihi gets in a young Oba Magi Hingamla, lelabo in the jet to good. They get to be Jimzin Karesana, Oba me Konanke, Karwa Tang Mepik Ringla, and Oba me Latinity, Teba, Muba, Tang, then Sorwa Tabatamji, and Kongi Hingamla in it, in the Jet, Tubiki in the Atine, Tugeta, Molam, Samji, Mejabachi, Nangore, Di Tolatene, and Nangan to Joe Tamalpa. Then let on Yomupa Mapanke in a young, and Oba Magic Hingamla, Lela was in the get to good. Gitane, 된 지산은 아주 다 단다 오바메 지신감 지산은 소소제고 레디어레다 사톱이요 말했어 다 되네네 오바메지 군도네 무수 되네 오바메 따베 라마체네 네 오바메 진도네 추휴 바데네 냠레체네 네베 레라부 토네 네 사주 람가 타르체네 상제지 공방 탑투고요레 코르왈 라량 네 짠 깨그 말했어 코르왈 네 라메도 바레 코르왈 깨그 말다 야야 가존도 마도 말마탄 용 말했어 오바메 신감 지사나 다 됐다 배용 삼지 메자 봐요. 디 신감도 땅한테 제비 다닥다다 젠다 그랬어.
So in the past, there have been countless Buddhas. There are countless Buddhas now in the 10 directions who have attained Buddhahood, who are turning the wheel of Dharma. There are countless Buddhas to come in the future. And we can say that there are countless Buddha fields associated with all of these different Buddhas. However, for the vast majority of all of these Buddha realms, if one has not accumulated great quantities of merit, if one has not purified almost all of the obscurations, if one has not seen the truth of Dharmata, then one cannot be born in these Buddha realms. It's impossible for ordinary beings to take birth there. However, this is not the case for the Amitabha's pure realm, the pure realm of Sukhavati. Even for beings who don't know the Dharma well, even for beings who haven't practiced very much and don't have realization, as long as you have the desire, like the true faith and the confidence in this Buddha realm, that's enough. That's enough to be able to take birth there. It's quite easy, actually. So why is this? Over many, many eons, Amitabha was someone practicing. And through all of his practice, he had this strong desire to create a place where ordinary beings could come to progress along the path. So by the power of his compassion, by the power of his bodhicitta, by the power of his accumulation of merit and his aspiration prayers, this pure realm came about. So even for beings who still have negative karma in their beings, who are still overcome by the afflictions, through the power of all of his work, people are able to take birth there. And then once you take birth there, it's not like you instantly become a Buddha. I mean, that just wouldn't make sense. You still haven't attained the bodhisattva levels. You're an ordinary being. However, you now can rely on the Buddha Amitabha directly. He becomes your teacher. He becomes your root lama. You receive teachings from him. You practice. There's no obstacle to practice. It's quite easy to progress. Then you do progress through the 10 bodhisattva levels, through the 5 paths, all the way to Buddhahood. Once someone takes birth in Sukhavati, there's no falling back into samsara. You only progress and go further and further along the path. So as you can see, there are inconceivable benefits to taking birth in Sukhavati, Amitabha's Pure Land, and in order to do so, we need to prepare now.
다 소소께고 대화쟁 기신감의 지 살바인도 되네 다세당 그당 강바당 다 조당 대소 간다 이랬어 아니 나도 내가 내고 그래 근데 된대게 있네야 다 대dom도 여지 말았어 다 대서 대돔 여나 아니 다 내가 내고 말해 세당 그당 내말 롱조 탐제 매바 룬드브레스 룬지럽 소소 가래 너바나 내가 진 생각 걸어 랑신 룬드럽지 터도 애니야 되네 인종 그래 되네 동아르게 애네 다자명 애니야 요 말했어 애네 가지 대지 빠도 매봐 루당 샘 니가래 애네 대지 빠도 매봐 애네 깨가 나지게 애네 되네 동안 매봐 되네 저 애네 준조르양 요봐 오시양 깨터봐 다 강들에 저 대화전지 생각나 계속나 ene 탐제 ene 되네 다 랑히 런도 배도 미고봐 어떤데 ene 옆에 터네 ene 상계 건도는 무슨 냠내세네 사주름 사주람가 드네 ene 셈제 상계네 녀도 상계지 공방 톱네 ene 셈제 봐도 매비도 드럽트고요레스 윤제 텔라데네 ene 가능서 탐제 다 치기 내가 텔라 나 삼로 망보 매바제네 다 대화전지 신감은 로인 삼백에 눈바 탁줘대 다다네 남겨 뺏겠어 버려.
So some might wonder, might have doubt to, once we take birth in Sukhavati, like, do we need to somehow provide for ourselves? Is there like work that we need to do? Do we need to have like, take things like clothes, and how do we get our food and kind of things like this? Probably you all don't think like that, but I want to put your minds at ease anyway. No, you don't have to get a job once you get to Sukhavati. All that you need in terms of like a place to stay, in terms of sustenance, in terms of clothing, etc., all of these things arise spontaneously. In this Pure Land, there's not even the word suffering does not arise. Even the sound of suffering or the thought of suffering isn't there. One experiences a lot of well-being in terms of both the body and the mind. There's no suffering from birth, old age, sickness, and death. Further, beings develop spontaneously the clairvoyances and seemingly miraculous powers. Everything arises spontaneously. There's no worry. And because there's no worry, one is free to practice the Dharma. One receives teachings directly from Amitabha, and therefore one can very quickly progress along the path to Buddhahood. And once one attains the state of Buddhahood, then one can engage in benefit for other sentient beings. So when we come to this bardo of dying, we should decide now for ourselves how we're going to orient our mind, what practice we're going to do, and to do the practice to orient our mind towards taking rebirth in Sukhavati is the best thing to do. It's very important to do like this.
다 나랑수 소소 깨우다 에네 오바메지 신감라 깨베게 몰람 답그 답주때 개첨보 인다이 아니 뭔지 캐럽 첨보 베나 깔마 참에는 보셨을 때 데몬 송게 다콩 베 가주당 닝마 니게 게드네 다베 가르제 라마 데 가디 주빅 라마 다베 개체유 그래서 캐바당 주바 니가 이게 이네다 베 세드 댐비 끼우지 그래서 용수 작바지 그래서 다 콩게 이네야 다베 대화적인 신감 뭐만 답고래 대화적인 신감 이네 개고르세 다베 낸데도 송 코나야 이네 야트네 다 제마 이네 야튼 통도도 다 펩사 대화적인 신감은 있어 다제 콩게 균레 로마 탐제 이네트네 대화적인 개베고 뭐만 톱 개그래서 아니 향바까지게 대대 다 통메 getene 다 추데 이네 야트네 다 고중게데 되는 캐럽 충보 나줘래 다 캐럽 충보 나줘서 삼님에 잡아 베네든 사줄람가 타르친 셈비게 이네 다 기위래 나줘지 왕주 셈보래 도창다 예르메체 파레 콩에네 든 고행도 아니 가와 폐기에서 휴들람 대화진 신강을 폐기에서 계속 대화진 아니 콩게 로마 뭐바 제조 탐제장 대화진의 계획 뭐람 탑다 아니 콩제그래 와바면 제그래서 콩건도네 추휴쇼래 와바면 건도네 추휴쇼래 어떤데 송여서 된다인다 된다도 대화진을다 돈 받대주대 하장 내가 첨보래서.
So we ordinary beings need to make this aspiration and recite the aspiration prayers to take birth in Sukhavati. This is very important. And not just us, even the great practitioners and realized beings, such as the accomplished scholar Karma Chakme Rinpoche. Karma Chakme Rinpoche is someone who wrote one of the most famous prayers for rebirth in Dewa Chen. He himself said that all beings should aspire. He insisted that all of his students aspire to take rebirth there. And he himself said that when I die, that's where I will be. That's where I am going when I die. So all of my students, you should make prayers to go to this realm as well. And further, the founder of the Shangpa Kagyu lineage was another accomplished scholar called Khenpo Naljor. He was a very mastered yogi who had already traveled the 10 bodhisattva levels and the 5 paths to completion. He was indivisible from Vajradhara, we can say. And when he was asked, after you die, where is it that you're going to be found? He said, I'm going to Sukhavati. And he said further that all of his students should follow him there. They should make aspirations to take birth in the realm of Sukhavati. And once you do so, if you do so, you can then receive teachings directly from Amitabha, and also for me. I will be there to guide and instruct you as well. So it's very important that we make aspirations to take rebirth in Sukhavati.
다 오바 매지 신감때 깨 라라 폐용 쳐와스 다 폐용 쳐비 좀데 다징에 휴바나래 하나 소소 깨워이나양 배솔 메고파 에네 야튼 탐지 에네 룬럽레스 랑힌 룬럽레스 랑힌 룬럽 임비게 토네 에네 추냠네 제네 다 쳇메도 바제네 상제 콤방 차트 톱트 부여레스 폐용 쳐봐 깨 라와 가르세나 에네 소소 깨워 추 칸양 메히바 근데 겨우 탐할 빠지나야 그런 즉 대바다 이지 어바 매지 생 퇴바담 직적이야 그런 즉 대바 이지 용거잖아 땡땡 깨도 그랬어 네 로주 동통동 지고
So we said that taking birth in Amitabha's pure realm is very beneficial. So I've explained some of these benefits already. It doesn't take as much effort or purification. Everything that once you get there, everything is provided spontaneously. You can practice the Dharma and travel to Buddhahood in a very easy way. And what we mean, we also say that it's quite easy to take birth there. So what do we mean when we say it's easy to take birth there? Again, even for ordinary beings who don't really know much about the Dharma, as long as they have this strong intention and trust in the presence or the truth of the pure realm of Sukhavati, it's possible to take birth there. Even just from hearing the name Sukhavati, that plants a seed that makes it possible to take birth there. So I have a short story to illustrate this point.
네마 빠와시 부모지 요레스 파질 부모지 아니 부모디 에네 빠와라 히라 그때동 첨보 그협 첨보 째와 첨보 요래 아니 빠와 되게 부모들 히라 그때와 첨보 부모 빠와를 히라 그때와 첨보 요래 부모들 추야 뭐 히라 흰거 요래 추배 냠내 추 약보 히야 히 냠내 난게 저래 빠와 추 개능 말해 추단 개능 말해 추 흰게 말해 빠와도 흰소래 카르펜터 흰소래 고빠 가뚜나 딱바 남랑네 사마로 파티 메현다 geleka ina pawa thangbo hita yore thangbo hita de chakdun tan hege mare mel gogor tang mare ane deje ta pawa hingsore ta bomoge tene pawa la samsa ta pawa maung pa hisona pe ene ya tene dongan nyongore ta chu de se ene ya nyamle nangna yabo yore se bomoge hiu yore de pawe tan nyenge yo mares 랭게 요마레 냥게 요마레스 덴타 포모베 샘데 요 땅에 빠와티 냥제 다 제마 히송나 에네 야다 추 내지 요마레 덴 냥송섬나 젠르고레 다 칸타 텔 탑히지 고도 삼네 에네 삼로망보 땅와레스.
So long ago, there was a young woman and a father, and there was a lot of love between the two. This young woman had a lot of affection for her father, a lot of respect for her father. She herself was a very good practitioner of Dharma. But the father, he wasn't into spirituality or the Dharma. As much as the daughter tried, she couldn't convince him to do any practice. So she was a little worried about her father because he didn't, have confidence in the Dharma, didn't practice the Dharma. She wondered what was going to happen to him after he died. Like she was afraid that maybe he would have to wander the lower realms. So even though the father didn't believe in the Dharma really or practice the Dharma, he was quite honest. He was very honest. He never deceived people. He was very straightforward in all his dealings. And he was a carpenter. So because this daughter was so worried, she was thinking again and again, what can I do? How can I sort of put something in place that is going to create this connection for my father and the Dharma? So she wondered about this for a long time.
Bawa hingzo tene takwa de ta hinge lega layal pe ni ya tene trewasembo yores. Tene bumu nima chegla bawa ngala tropo yakbo jiyus tropo. Ti tropo tige mengla ametabas oba mesiris. ngani paru pe tsawa chimbo yus ene ametaba korang ke desa hing khang ba ya po che ene ya tene 서로 지승할 나중스 당연히 이 강바서 두 말했어 ene pawa chirang ke tene nge trokpo tene amitaba desa kangba hingang yakpo che soro nangs toji seks te majes tene pawa ke yayas ke lang pare ke lang ta ina yang ene ya tene ke lang re te ko leka mangpo hita yore leka mazar ba chene ene te ta kangba soya ke tuzo madobre ta nyama che tene pawa nare nane ta pe ta nane peche ta hikyu ta chobare ta pe na tene hikyu ta je ta na ta do yor ta pe chiki ke neka hibi ke neka ta la tene pomoti ke ene pawa ke amjol ke jamne babas tene ne tropo tene amitaba dese ke tene khangba de kirang sogu yobas te soro na te maje as 양내 양도 쉬바래 빠바게 요래 아메타바요 다 부모께 dropa 아메타바 그 강바데 다 소고요 다 등에 소인 삼 근데 삼로 땅 힘비 내갑스 뜨네 옥체 성바레스 옥체네 람상 아메타바 힘감티아도 그 아메타바 스텐디 요라와 디 아메타바 스텐데바 디게 셈게 누바 젤랍도 때네 뭐바 매 힘감 기성을 로주요레스 부모 탑 개바레스 ene pawa koran ketne ta ametaba se tente ku maje wa ene ametabe ke tuji chelap ta tik ko tender na thoba jun dobal tene pawa chu ke maje chu kang megi na ya ene oba me hingam ki yesung bares.
So again, the father was a carpenter who was very diligent in his work. He was always working from morning to night. And so the daughter came up with an idea. She said, Father, I have this friend. He's a very good friend, a very close friend of mine, and his name's Amitabha. And really one of my best friends, you know, and he asked me if I could help him get a house built. He wants a wooden house. So on his place, you know, in his land, he wants me to help him get a wooden house built. But, you know, as you know, I don't know anything about carpentry, so will you please help my good friend Amitabha? You know, will you please build this house for him in his land of Amitabha, in his land of Sukhavati? So the father says, yeah, okay, if it's a very good friend of yours, then yeah, I agree, I'll do this. So of course he kept on working. He was very diligent in his work. But then at one point he gets sick. And he gets sicker and sicker, and it's quite clear that he's going to die very soon. So right when he's getting to the point of death, this daughter is reminding him again and again, so Dad, remember now, you told me, you agreed that you would help my friend Amitabha, that you would build this wooden house for him in Sukhavati. And she was saying this to him again and again as he was approaching death. And the father saying, yeah, that's right, you know, I agreed I'd do that. I'm going to do that for your good friend, you know, since it's important. And this was in his mind when he took his last breath. So because of the coming together of the blessings and the compassion of Amitabha and the vows that he made, and this good man having Amitabha in his mind and the wish to go to this place of Sukhavati at the time that he took his last breath, because of these things coming together, it's said that he did indeed take rebirth in the Puram of Sukhavati.
Tene nganang so chik semje tunro tabu ke nawala yang Amitabha ke tene nga drang. Chene se ke tene nga songa omane pemeng se tunro tabu mbusen tabu tezu ke ene ya tene nawala ene ya nga tezu songa tezu drang ba ina ya di tsen di ke tene chilab ke tola tene ene lude tunro ki lude ngenpa te par porne shingam na ke toba tene jungu yore. Tene ta pena sozoina tene ta sangi pena tayinge pawa chui kanga mihi tende jena ko Amitabha te tende ko ene sem nang la ten hange ten himbe ngangne ene ko ta ok chedu ene hingam jedu yorwa ta te ko nguyo ne zure ta te nang ye ene ya ngarang so tene sozo shibe ne kabla tene oba me ene ya maje ba chizogla tene hange ten himega tela sorba tabne ene ta hingam tela jegi sambeke ndumba te hibi tone ngando okche toba chungna tende tedoma ba jetu gres ta te tata ne ngans kom gores tese tata ne tata ngando lula naza yo mare 랑왕레 삼로동 투고 요래 엔 다다능아도 자득대 제고 요래스.
So also when we see like animals, whether it's an insect or any other animal who is dying or has died, we say it's good to recite like the mantra or the name of these different beings in their ears. You can say the mantra of Amitabha, Om Ami Dewa Hri. You can recite the mantra of Chenrezi, Om Mani Padme Hum. And just by the blessings of hearing the names of these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the power of that, it's said that it's possible for these beings to take rebirth into these pure realms. So just like it was in the case for the father in this story, although he didn't practice the Dharma, at the time of his death, he had the mind, he had Amitabha, the name of Amitabha in his mind. And because of the power of the interconnectedness here, he was able to take birth there. And this is true. This is actually, a true event, or this is a truth that is possible. So we too, we need to prepare. If we want this to occur for us, it's important that we do preparations now, that from time to time we visualize Amitabha above our head, that we make supplications, that we say, that we have this intention, that as soon as once we have taken our last breath, we're going to go straight to Amitabha, to his pure realm. We're going to have we should have no doubt about this. To practice now, to meditate now is very important. It's important to prepare while we have the time, while we're not sick and overcome with confusion, etc.
다다나 참샤데 까마니규 그랭라 엔랑 저랑도 트반다 요는 송로나 엔디 라마데 엔도 추도 제말 휴이.
So now we'll leave it here for now for the presentation, and for the last 20 minutes, if you have any questions, we can entertain questions, and I'll cover the rest in the afternoon.
Rinpoche, several of us are practicing POA with the wish that at the moment of death we will transfer our consciousness. And sometimes I'm confused because I think, well, what if I'm in a coma at that moment? And so I don't know how all this works.
Damikashe di POA jangdeore. POA. Deni konso rewa dire di chike kapsu konso di namshe di dewa chenla totuke rewa yorwa. Deni maran tetsam yore karin senet samsam ngatso di mashi ngala ngatso di koma chagire.
Drempa
lakso. Dendra yena da drempa mena peche di POA gyap kale kapo yinsare. So koma drapo yena drempa mena kari yangare.
다 drempa mena 제 다 소소랑게 네 포아자야티 다데 kale kapo yinsare. 저 기부 담바 현다게 네야 저 네야 포아자나 peche 포아 탭고 yinsare. 다 이나 양 드네 저 drempa me 현도 네 희송바 이나 다 디갑라 이니야 다 나와바 메지 신감다 제기 오바멜 ene sorwata himbike ene sambateta ta deskal에 가보 요레스 이나야 다 다당하나서 랑왕 옆에 내 갑라 베나 꼬마 맞아 공도 ene 샘게 건든 바티 요나 ene 되네 네 아치마 희송을 내 갑라 ene 디제라 ene 야tin 디 토라 되네 오바메 신감 제투 그레스.
Yeah, so if that's the case, if we are in a coma at the time of death, even if you've trained in that, you wouldn't have the faculty probably to do it for yourself. However, if you've trained in that, then it's quite possible that another realized being, someone with experience, would be able to do the practice for you. Sometimes POA is done by oneself, and then most of the time actually it's done by someone else for a being. So that would be a way that the practice could still be beneficial, and the foundation you've laid is helpful. And further, if you're in a coma, then when death is approaching, you're not going to be able to form this very clear intention in your mind. You can't supplicate Amitabha at that time. You can't direct your mind to Sukhavati in that moment. But before that happens, now, while we're supposed to prepare, if that has been our intention, if we have made these supplications, if we have made these aspirations, it's not like these are lost just because you happen to be in a coma before the time of your death. So the power is still there. So it's still possible that one could take rebirth there because of that, the previous aspirations and supplications, etc. Up top.
I'm wondering about folks, or the vast majority of human beings that don't know of the Dharma, but may have possibly like a type of similar thinking that they're wishing to go to a type of pure realm, perhaps, folks that are in, biblical religions or even, tribal religions, all different religious practices throughout the world. If they are having their aspiration as they're living and dying to go to a pure realm, would they also go to Sukhavati, or would that not be possible without them knowing of the Dharma, or perhaps actually practicing a completely different specific religion?
Zambalingi mi mang chewa nangpa marwa. Inen kashe konsudi o nga shine nga shinkam chikla. Kewa lenwa shoks chene drangire. Konsudi Amitabha Sukhavati gomanyo. Ine chichena di rewa jirapo yosigire. Konsudi dewachen la ke sigire be. Yamene di Amitabha nan Sukhavati an drewa mepa latene peche kewa linya kalikapura bes.
Te peche kalakabo indot. Re kalakabo res. Ko taase ne hingam chen roinis ne ma do hingam ko mekte di hingam des ambike ne ya meyu yo marba. O te inta ne meyu me hindo tene te dewa chen hingam je la kalakabo re. Ta hinga su ta dewa chen je wala dewa chen hingam korang mekpate ne Amitabha de titsen de maje wa chen ne hingam te ne sam nang te hime to ne ya ro ku yo wa den ro te hingam je.
Probably it would be difficult because, as Rinpoche says, he explained, it's like the main thing is like knowing of the pure realm, knowing the Buddha Amitabha, having the strong intention about Sukhavati and Amitabha in one's mind when one's dying. It's said to be kind of specific. So just having the general thought of wanting to go to a pure realm, whether they would go to Sukhavati or not, Rinpoche says probably difficult, probably not such a good chance. Is there one down here? Yes, okay.
I have a question.
And then back up.
Rinpoche, you were saying that chanting, is someone else going?
No, you're going.
Oh, I'm going, thank you. Saying the mantra of Chenrezig in the ear of someone who is not a Buddhist or an animal, what about if they've already died? Can you still help them with that?
Di mi yena senshin yena di chike kapsu konso di nawala omami dewi omani pedi lakna di pinto gyore sungsuma di shi sarne mumala dundra cheeks kari nina cheeks dundra cheeks low cheeks jo yuna dux ngak di sumna dunna pengire bes
Oh, pengere ti himbo tela megnere wa himbo te ni ata pena mendawo yamana so do kendawo himendawo che ne hene ne dunda khaye song sarwa ina yang ti hisong me dundo te la megne ti tond megne ne ame dewa nga drang ti hingam ne kebar hyo molam tab ti hingam ne kebe ke che to chik choba da pu rawa molam tab so the geba na te in ya che to in ya mikbache ngobache na kebe che to kate ngobache na pira pendo chembores nuba chembore pengeres.
Yeah, it still can be a benefit, whether the person or insect or animal, whatever, if it's your dog or cat, has died like 1 day ago, 1 week, whatever, 1 year. If you have the intention that this created connection for them with Sukhavati and Amitabha, and you recite the mantra, if you recite an aspiration prayer, if you do any kind of virtue, if you make offerings with that intention in mind, wanting to make the connection between this being and the pure realm of Sukhavati, there's definitely benefit that can still come from that. Yes. Then up top again.
When I hear the phrase future life, I feel confused. Is it working?
Just keep talking, it's okay. Just keep talking.
Okay, future lives. What does that mean? Because it makes me feel like then if there is like a set future life already there in existence, then
Just keep talking.
what I do now, is that affecting my future?
Okay. Di marangi kewa chima godu kapsirwa. Marangi sampla di kewa chima di drupsade. Marangla gubde yore. So di kewa chima di la kariyong yore di tak chesare. Marangla gubde yore. Samgido. So te jesang di yapago tsuksamare. Na yapago gina dus. Dendra yena. Dendra yena.
Tewachima gogde yorsenata. Gogde yoresena chokeres. Karesena tape le sangboche in the kurang sane. Ta teen drable la tene, and the Jawachima ta yaboche in the Javala gogde yoresena chokeres. Roa. Tayansu le megawa to sa and telling Joba Meva. And to say none, Tayan teen drable la coin the Dungan New York. Ta Lutes like Tinjal Tagok the Yotis.
You know, so not to lay sapala tene, not to the kewachima.
Oh, yes, I ain't that lela.
Data tache yomarwa.
Tata tacho yamar, ta rangcho yamar, tacho yamar. And the Suzuki till less and ain't till la rob something in the tache to get it.
So, I guess we can say it's kind of like that, it's kind of not like that. So from the perspective of it's kind of is like that, you could say there's something waiting for, like some specific life waiting for you in terms of the karma that we have accumulated to this point, but not in a specific sense, in a general sense. For a person who has been very virtuous and done a lot of positive things, we can say that there is a future life waiting, but exactly what it is or isn't hasn't been determined as of yet. But if there's a lot of virtue as like a background for this person, then we can say something positive is waiting, but not in details, like all the like John in this place, you know, of this family and that kind of stuff. Not like that. But I mean, more to the question, it's more like it isn't yet determined yet. What we have done and what we do up until the time we die will determine what's going to happen. And then, Rinpoche didn't say this, but also our states, Rinpoche said that it's a powerful opportunity, right? And even for strong practitioners, there's a possibility of falling down. Even for people without strong practice, there's a possibility for excellent things happening, right? So a lot of things come together at the moment of death to decide what's going to happen. So in some sense, there's a general sense that given our past karma, there is something waiting for us, but the details aren't decided as of now. It's not like there's some future life, you know, that's planned out waiting for you exactly. Is that clear?
I simply wanted to express deep gratitude for these remarkable teachings. It feels like a spring rain received in very fertile soil. So I thank you for the teachings today, and I thank you for the future fruits that they may bring. And thank you for the clear and humble translation.
Demandi kandisho yamares, di chi permissive yapores, di chike gi charpa japores, chike gi charpa rawa, chike gi charpa di le ye kari, le ye pe sacha la bakidus, ne sampla mopa di dribble yapuchi kigres. Is there another one up top?
Rinpoche, I have taken the Bodhisattva vow, and I feel like that vow has not only changed my attachment, but it has attached me. So now, in a way, when I hear about making a prayer to be born in Dewa Chin, that makes me afraid, because I don't want to lose the attachment that is the attachment of being a benefit to other beings. So I'm challenged by that notion, because I don't want to have that attachment, but I feel the strength of it, because of course at the moment of death I would like to be resolved of all suffering. But the truth is, I don't want to be resolved of the vow to benefit other beings. I wouldn't want to somehow be free of suffering knowing that that wasn't the case for all beings. So can you help me understand that?
Ko jangsim dompa lang sarwa. Jangsim dompa lang ne contest chagiru. Kanisane dewa chen la kena korangi sample arwa. Gansu jangsim dompa long na ngasu di simchi tamche pen togarwa. So kongi sample la nga dewa chen la kewa lena da nge dugel sarson. Nge dugel sarson. Ina da nga simchin shimpala pen tok tupsamare. Je sang kongi sample la chikchena dewa chen la kewa shoks labna tes ken sabodu. Kanisane nga di simchin tamche roko jegins ke lang sare.
Te mares. Tendra mares. Ta simchen tamje la pen ta gona lakbar to dewa chen la kewe molam tanu hyok chenpo tangurit. Hyok che. Kanyasena ta dada nga zu simchen tamje la pen ta tubiya ke nuba yo marwas. Nuba ja chenpo yo mares. Kanyasena nga zu sozu kewore. Nuba yo mar. Ta simchen tamje la pen ta gona tini sozu nyoba sangye ji kombang top kuyore. Nuba da denpa chi kuyore. Ten dewa chenji shingam ki na ten sangye oba mechi kundu ne ene chuishu ne ane kartu tene nyobo ene sangye komang top kades. Sangye komang top tene semche tame pa paad me pa la tene pen ta top kades. Ane tanda pena ene semje te yang semche tamche sangye ki kombang langu para chabi ki le tu ane rangye nyurba ene oba mechi shingam la ene tene ke topar hyo oba mechi hingam na ki ne tene oba mechi dundu tene songi duzi la tene ene nga nyur tu sangye chi kombal topar hyo top ne ene nge semje tamje la ene ya tene penpa jachenpo semje tamje nge oba mechi hingam la ya nge ko topar hyo sambe tosu molam tab korese 다 정선 돈발 랑네 다 라버 되양드네 오바 메지 신감나 계획 뭐남 흉체로 딴 거라서.
So, if one really wants to be, needs to benefit all sentient beings, then in an even stronger sense, one should make the vow to be born in Dewa Chen. And so why is that? Now, okay, we've made a vow, and we want to be of vast benefit to all sentient beings, but if we really look at the situation, how much ability do we have to be of great benefit, profound benefit to all sentient beings? Probably not very much, since we're still ordinary beings. So if we really want to be able to be of vast benefit to sentient beings, what do we need to do? We need to attain the state of Buddhahood. And if we take rebirth in Sukhavati, then we can receive Dharma directly from Amitabha Buddha, and we can practice without impediment, and therefore in a quicker fashion will we be able to become a fully enlightened Buddha. And once we are a fully enlightened Buddha, then our ability is boundless. Our ability to reach sentient beings, all sentient beings, is enhanced to an unimaginable degree. And then we'll truly be able to be of deep benefit. So the nature of bodhicitta, generating this mind of awakening, is the wish to establish all sentient beings in the state of Buddhahood. Yeah? But until we attain that state ourselves, if we want to be able to do that, we need to quickly attain that state. So the best way to quickly attain that state is to take rebirth in Sukhavati, where we can receive the nectar-like speech of Amitabha, where we can become a Buddha quicker and then be of even more benefit to all sentient beings, then we ourselves can help establish all beings in the state, or have them take rebirth in the land of Sukhavati. So for someone with the Bodhisattva vow who wants to be of deep benefit to all sentient beings, even in a stronger fashion, even more resolutely should they make aspirations to reborn in Sukhavati. One more.
I am curious about how to negotiate the concept of God alongside the potential experience of emptiness, and I was hoping that Rinpoche could expand on that.
The concept of God beside the what of emptiness?
The potential experience of emptiness. Like we're talking about how...
How do those two relate?
How do those two relate? Because I believe in God.
Okay.
And I'm Jewish.
Okay.
So I'm one of the Boo Jews. And I'm just curious because the more I study Buddhism, the more I really can see and understand this emptiness.
Okay.
But to me that seems to sort of negate, or it seems to challenge the idea of God, and that's just what I wanted Rinpoche to speak on. If
Okay.
you could.
Marang di Jewish Jewish kichuluk. Tene konso di lai kuncho God kelengirwa. Morangi kandishu adire God kelena tene tongpaniang kelena dini chala yongirbes nika kelen chupgirbes.
Ne kele tupgres tongbanye cherangzal tene konjo God jongwares God de tongbingangle tene God jongwares nganzo tanda tongbingangle tene ametaba jongwares ote tene ta God ta tongnyika ene ya mangalwa chene ene kele chores.
So Rinpoche says that maybe these two needn't be mutually exclusive. So for example, when we do meditation, why Rinpoche laughed is this, like when we do a practice like Amitabha, we say from the expanse of emptiness, or we could even say as the very expression of the expanse of emptiness arises Amitabha. So instead of Amitabha's name, Rinpoche inserted God's name. So God is the very manifestation of the expanse of emptiness. So if you think about it in that way, then maybe they're not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
So now we'll recite the first prayer on page 7, isn't it? 7. Oh, by this merit may I attain omniscience. May the enemy wrong action be overcome. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, may I liberate beings from the ocean of samsara.